Hello and welcome to another video from Truckers World. This video hopefully will help new drivers out there. Some experienced drivers will get a little bit as well, but it's mostly aimed at new drivers, this one. And it is my tips and advice of what to do when you get into what we call a pickle. So for example, you turn down a wrong road, you can't turn around, you've got to back out, you might get stuck in there. Those tight little spots where you suddenly feel like you want the world to swallow you up, literally. So a little bit of my pickle. When I was a new driver, I was using a mobile phone sat-nav, a truck sat-nav on the mobile phone. Wasn't a bad one, I believe, but I missed a turning. It told me to turn right up housing estate. That was my first mistake. Obviously, most experienced drivers now, even without a sat-nav, would look at that and think there's no way I'm turning up there, I'll keep going, okay? But I turned up there, turned around another corner to try and do a U-turn, and then just the only turning was to go down to the right. That was the only turning. Straightforward was a cul-de-sac, and there was no way you could turn around there. But this right turning, incidentally, there was a phone pole on the right hand side, big wooden phone pole that you'll see right at the top of the road where I was turning on the right. And would you believe it, parked at the top on the left hand side was a big motorhome. Now you can imagine, obviously, I tried getting down that road and I struggled, and I thought, I can't do this. So what did I do to try and get out of this pickle? Well, first of all, the first thing I did was told myself, calm down, just calm down. So I breathed quite heavily, that kind of thing, just to calm down, because obviously as soon as you're in a panic, you're all over the show. You've just got to calm yourself down now. I don't know, that's how I did it. I told myself to calm down, did some deep breathing. But whatever calms you down, make sure you just do that just for a few seconds. So when I realised I couldn't turn down, I went straight forward into the cul-de-sac area to see if I could turn around there. And I knew I couldn't turn around there, so I was stuck. So I then decided to think, right, what am I going to do next? So I parked a little bit to the left. I wasn't blocking anybody. And the next thing I did, if there was something blocking you, for example, and it was in a housing estate, I decided to knock on doors. So I knocked on a couple of doors to see who this motorhome belonged to. Incidentally, I was told it was the closest house, so I thought I was in luck. Knocked on the door, and yes, you can well believe it, nobody answered the door. So that wasn't an option. But in some circumstances, I've worked on the bins when they've been blocking the road, and knocking on doors to find out which car or van's blocking your entrance, where you can get down, has helped. It's not ideal, it's not great, but it has worked in the past. So that's another tip I would give you. So first tip, calm down, relax, get yourself under control. Second, if there is a car or motorhome or whatever is blocking your pathway, knock on a couple of doors and see if you can find out who the owner is. Try and move it for you. Okay, so that didn't help because they weren't there to move it. So then I did actually ask somebody to help me a little bit with the turn. So I thought, right, I'll try and turn again down the road, and they helped me at the rear. I didn't have a rear cam. Some vehicles have a rear cam, very helpful. This one didn't have a rear cam, so it's very, very difficult. But again, if somebody's nearby, ask to help. They will help you. If you need to back out, maybe as a last resort, they will help you. Somebody will help you, okay? So that's another tip. Always ask for somebody's help. Never be afraid. When that didn't work, on this occasion, I felt the only option was to either then reverse all the way back down to where I came, which would have been very, very difficult because getting up there in the first place was so tight, or to try and be brave and determined and try and get this wagon in a position where I could get it between the motorhome and the post. So I chose to do that. I chose to try and squeeze it through. Okay, so when I did that, I remained calm. I checked both sides. So when I was steering in, I looked far out the right hand side. I even got up and got literally right over to the other window to have a look how much room I had there. Okay, what I did was then turn right, reversed a little bit again, turn right, reversed a little bit. So this is another tip. If you have to do a 10-point turn to get out of that pickle, then you have to do a 10-point turn. Okay, it might require that, but if that just means moving a little bit, couple of inches here, couple of inches back to get that little bit of room to squeeze, then that's the next tip. You have to do that, and that's just it. It's not nice, but that's what I did. So in the end, after a couple of turns, manoeuvres, I somehow managed to squeeze past. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how I did it. I didn't touch the motorhome. The post, however, I did probably scrape a little bit. I probably definitely scraped it. But somehow I managed to squeeze past. Okay, and I managed to get through it. I was sweating, it was horrible, and I never want to repeat that experience again. But I did it. So all I can say now is the last tip is learn from it. Okay, learn from where you went wrong. So go over the scenario again and think, right, how can I avoid that happening next time? Okay, how can I avoid that? And you'll think where you went wrong, what you could have done differently. Now on this one, this was quite, on my scenario, it was quite a unique scenario. I don't want to go through all of it because I'll be here all day, but the turning, there was only kind of like one way to get in. And because the road was so thin, cars were coming up, and the way the building was blocking the entrance, cars who were coming up out of the exit couldn't see me waiting. And this was in rush hour as well, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it was just a nightmare. Now, had I had the knowledge, I possibly could have come up the other way in reverse, but mine was quite a unique position and there was nowhere close to stop. But I would probably suggest that always do your pre-planning, find out where you went wrong, and obviously if necessary, from that point on I did a lot of pre-planning, and if I could find a place where I could possibly stop just to get out of the wagon and have a look, that's what the best thing is to do, definitely. So some tips again then. So always remain calm. If you're in a pickle, remain calm, because you will be better for it. You'll act better for it. Your brain will function better rather than being in a big flap. Next thing, you know, always ask for somebody's help. If you're out there, they will help you, especially if you deliver to a workplace. You know, again, I've got through another pickle, which I'll let you know in another video. Ask somebody to help back you out, and they will do. And traffic will stop for you as well, okay? They'll help back you out. Thirdly, you know, if you have to do several point turns, 10-point turns, so be it. That's what you've got to do. A little bit here, a little bit there, it will help, and you'll be surprised what you can squeeze into. Obviously, you wouldn't do that by choice, but you'll be surprised. And lastly, just make sure you learn from it. Just make sure you go over what you've done wrong, how it can be avoided next time, and there's a last one, yeah. Just always do your pre-planning before you go to a location, just to make sure you can get in, get out, and more importantly, I think, is where you can stop before to have a look. So those are my tips. So hopefully this video has helped. Give me a thumbs up if you like. Leave some comments if you want to, and if you want to suggest a video, by all means, I'll look at that and try to do another video. Okay, right, thank you for watching, and until the next time, keep on trucking. Thank you.